Hey, it's Aaron, Metal Theologian. Alright. So I'm going to tell you what we're listening to right now, just so you know, but I'm really thirsty. So, there you go, a little preview, because we're going to talk about this in a couple minutes, alright? So, it's funny, there have been a lot of, like Mountain Dew varieties that have come out over the last several months. And I kind of couldn't be bothered keeping up with them. I mean, doing the soda reviews is kind of fun, but it's kind of cooler when, I don't know. I just kind of... It's cooler when you find something that's unusual and really special, and also, I don't want to turn into a huge fatty, so I don't drink all that much soda, you know? I got enough for the gut. Anyway, my kid, though, got a 12-pack of this dirty Mountain Dew, so we're going to try it. And the fact is, cream soda Dew actually sounds pretty promising. I mean, Mountain Dew is kind of a lemon-lime sorta, and cream soda is cream soda, so I'm really curious how this is going to taste, but my hopes are pretty high. Wow, it's really kind of weird. It's like, it feels like it tastes like Mountain Dew, like on the tongue and the bottom of my mouth, and it tastes like cream soda, like on the roof of my mouth, you know? Yeah, it's definitely all in there, though. Sometimes you get one of these things where it's like a combination. You like Dr. Pepper and cream soda or something like that. You'll kind of taste one more than the other. With this one, you really get both. I'd say the cream soda is a little bit stronger, but you really get that citrus undertone from the Mountain Dew. Would I drink a whole 12-pack of these? I mean, eventually they'd get drunk, right? But I'm not going to be like running out to like stock up on this shit before. I don't know if it's a limited edition or if it's just a thing they're doing now, but anyway, it's pretty decent soda. It's not life-changing. It's not incredible, but it's interesting, man. All right, so right now, I am pretty high on some reissues that have come out, okay? Because there's been a bunch of shit that just turned up. You know, stuff I'd pre-ordered that all sort of came all at once, and I'm kind of going like, oh shit, man, I can't believe it. So first of all, I want to talk about Black Legion records. I've talked about this label a little bit before. As far as I can tell, they're based out of Peru, but their shit ships out of Spain, which means the pressing plant is probably in Spain. These guys, they've done a lot of like sort of underground demos and shit like that for like current bands and that sort of thing, which I think is cool, but I don't follow that stuff as closely just because it's a way of keeping a limit on it, you know what I mean? Because I could never stop buying shit if I really went all the way on that rabbit hole. But they've also been doing a lot of reissues of like classic, well, I guess Spanish-speaking stuff. It's mostly Spanish and Mexican bands they've been doing, man. But they've done like banger after banger, and they've been doing these records that are like rare-ass records that are tough to find. So what we're listening to right now is this band called Bella Bestia, and to tell you the truth, I'd never heard of these guys before. But I saw that it was like mid-80s shit, early mid-80s shit, and that Black Legion was reissuing it, and I was like, you know something? If those guys are doing it, it's probably good. So I went ahead and fucking just pre-ordered both of them. I was like, the hell with it. We're just gonna go all in. I didn't even sample these guys online or anything first. This is the second one, I'm pretty sure. And this shit's fantastic, man. So it's not the heaviest thing ever. There's definitely kind of an amateurish thing going on. But that's what makes a lot of these bands so charming to me, you know what I mean? Yeah, so these guys were Spanish, unless I'm super mistaken. And they kind of have that Spanish vibe, you know what I mean? Not super heavy, like I said, a little bit sort of... They probably hadn't spent as many years rehearsing as a lot of the American bands did, and that's fine, you know, it's a different market. Spain was kind of its own thing all by itself. It's been interesting dipping into it over the last several years, because I've associated that with France forever, you know? Where the German shit, they were always sort of going for the international thing. All those bands were bigger in Germany than they were outside of Germany, right? But like there was a concerted effort to get bands like Destruction and Creator, you know, to be known in the US, you know? The French kind of kept themselves. As far as I can tell, the Spanish kind of kept themselves too. And I think there's less stuff that came out of Spain, and there aren't as many people in Spain, so, you know, that's not really a big shocker. But the Spanish bands tend to have sort of a rock and roll sensibility to them like this. You know what I mean? Like sort of a mid-pace thing. A little bit of a pop sensibility sometimes, and sometimes they stray a little bit close to the sort of being corny for my taste. But generally speaking, man, these albums are just solid all the way through. Even like really sort of hardcore ones aren't that heavy. Like I'm thinking of the second Evo record, which has like the devil on it and shit. So, but just really charming and really just like easy to enjoy records, you know what I mean? So Bella Bestia, like I said, this is sort of the latest one. But I just kind of want to show a couple of these other ones too. So, I mean, I just mentioned Evo. Forgive my Spanish pronunciation here. I don't claim to know Spanish. But they did, as far as I know, this band did 2 records. I actually had the second one, the one I was just alluding to. I have an original of that one. But this one, I grabbed the Black Legion one of as soon as I saw it existed. Fantastic record. These guys are pretty heavy too. This record in particular is probably one of the heavier pieces from that sort of stable, I guess. I don't know, what am I trying to say? Alright, then there's this band who I might have mentioned, but this kind of came in with a bunch of other shit. So the Spanish one, if I'm not mistaken, Sobredosis, and Black Legion did 2 of their records. Again, another one where like you might be able to track this shit down, but it'd be hard to get. You'd have to send away for it from like, you know, a country that's far away and shit. All of these came from Spain anyway, so you know, shipping isn't cheap. But I mentioned the Mexican ones too, man. This Megaton one is like, it's a pretty badass rarity if you can get your hands on a real one. And you don't have to, because Black Legion made it accessible, man. This is a fantastic record. It's a banger. I think these Mexican ones are generally a little bit heavier than the Spanish ones. There's some exceptions I can think of, but not on the records that I'm showing. That one or this Luzbel LP. Luzbel did an EP before this, then did another LP after this. And I don't know about after that. There might be more beyond that too, but I got the Black Legions of both the LPs, and I have an original of the first EP. So anyway, Pasaporte Infierno is another one that's like a badass rarity, man. I was like, yeah, man, someday I'd like to get my hands on a copy of that. Well, it's fucking easy right now. I even got a little bonus patch with mine too. So I know I've hyped this one before because our friend Black Leather Eyes over in Northern Ireland, if I'm not mistaken, he snagged one of those bad boys too. We were on the same wavelength when we came to the Luzbel. I actually got to give Merciful Metal Thomas a little bit of credit on Luzbel too for me, because they were kind of on my radar, but like I wasn't really. But he like got that first EP, and he was like, "Oh man, this thing is fucking fantastic." So I was like, "Okay, well now I really want to hear this shit." And of course, it's great. How can you not like this, man? This is just so like, it's so easy to just sit back and enjoy this, man. Fucking Bella Bestia. Never heard of him before the pre-order was announced a couple months ago. But I'm glad I rolled the dice, man, because it came up the way I wanted it to. So the other thing I want to talk about here is there's been some great shit from Brutal Planet and Retroactive, and a shout out to our friend Scott Waters for the work he does on these releases. But not too long ago, I was freaking out over these Apostle reissues, right? There's some band, a Jesus metal band from the 80s who had only ever gotten shit out on tape, apparently. And I went ahead and got... the Brutal Planet did the first 2 records, or they did vinyl versions of the first 2 tapes. I don't think it's been a full year ago, like several months ago, something like that. And Scott like messaged me and was like, "Oh, I think you dig these guys." So I was like, "Okay, I'll give them a shot." Those fucking records are fantastic, man. I played those so much and enjoyed them so much. So there were 2 more announced, right? And you know, if you know me and you watch my channel, I tend to like. I have a habit of kind of starting with the band at the beginning, right? I'll get the first record. If I like it, I'll get the next record. If I like that, I'll get the next one, and I'll sort of peter out eventually somewhere in there. A lot of times, you know, if a band has 14 records, I rarely need that many, unless it's, you know, the mighty Sun Ra here. I have more than 14 Sun Ra records. But you know, the third and the fourth record, I sort of go, you know, I'm interested, but like I'm not as optimistic. Let me tell you, man, these Apostle records are fantastic. Yeah, this one, Hymns, and then Metal for the Master. Which, it's funny, because this is like 89, but like this looks like a reunion album, doesn't it? Because like 30 years after the fact, where like these bands get together to like play some festival in Europe and then make an album to go along with it, they look more like this than, you know, like this. So I saw this, I was like, that's got to be a reunion album, but it's totally not. It's just, I don't know. Anyway, fantastic, man. These Apostle records are great. I'm actually going to throw one on for a minute. I'm going to throw the last one on, because it's still so good, man. Yeah, I'm not getting paid by these labels either or anything. All these records that I'm showing here and hyping, I paid for them. Sometimes Matt from Brutal Planet will send me a bonus or two or something like that, you know, but you know, I'm not opposed to the idea of promos. I've heard people like, you know, talk about how, oh, you know, if you're getting promos, it's I don't know, unethical somehow because like you're biased. And I mean, I understand the argument, but that's just not how it works, you know. I mean, long ago when I was writing for my paper when I was in college, and you know, I got promos for all sorts of shit, and like, if something got a bad review, if you got a bad review, that was just going to happen sometimes. You know, it's like these labels would retaliate. You know. Anyway, the point being, I'm not opposed to promos, but these weren't promos. There we go. Yeah, I'll show a couple other ones that came too, actually, because I didn't know these were around, but no, actually, hang on, this is the wrong stack. There are a couple of Vinnie Domina records that also came out, and I'll just go ahead and mention these. I haven't digested these fully, but I already had the first album, which is really good, like a Jesus band, but like really, like on the prog metal, but like really progressive, but still staying really metal without getting too precious. So I think this one's the third one. Actually, there are four things right there, so maybe it's the fourth one, I don't know. And this one too. This one feels a little bit like heading a little far in that sort of precious direction that I was talking about. But I'm not done with this one, so I'll come back and talk about it later once I've taken it in, you know. So most of you know this Vinnie Domina stuff is available because I was hunting for that first record for a long time, so. If you're interested, isn't this great? Like great riffs, like a good performance, like a solid performance. Not the strongest singer on the planet, but plenty strong for like what he's doing here, and like he's singing his ass off, you know. This is like really good, you know. Yeah, man, it's not like riding high on this shit. It just feels like there's this abundance of great shit out there, you know. Yeah. That's what I've been in this sort of phase where like during the day I've been listening to shit like this, like these Japanese like funky jazz records, Mabumi Yamaguchi Quartet, shit like that. I think I might have showed a couple of these recently. Been doing some of this too, actually, man. A little bit of the blues rock. Some of this early Fleetwood Mac shit. Which I really like the early Peter Green shit. And I hated blues rock until like around the time I started the channel. Actually, there's a guy, I probably told this story before, but there's a guy called Garner out of, I think, Colorado. He changed his channel name a few times. I don't think he's still making videos, but yeah, but he was really into the blues rock. One time he was going on about like a Savoy Brown record or something. Not like one of like the greats, but like sort of a mid-tier record by a mid-tier band. And I was like, oh, what the hell, I'll give it a shot. And I found a copy for $4. It was a Lion's Share by Savoy Brown. I got home, I was like, this is actually really good, man. This scratches the itch. And that was kind of like a turning point for me with the whole blues rock thing. So like that. Then these first couple Groundhogs records I really like now too. You know, that one, or Scratching the Surface, the first one. Like, I've known about the Groundhogs for a long time. Like, Thank Christ for the Bomb. A friend of mine put me onto that one back, like, in the 90s or something like that. And, like, Split is kind of a classic, too. But these early ones I didn't really think much of because they were just too blues rock for me. Now I think they're great, so. And these Sundays reissues are pretty easy to get and not very expensive, so that's a plus. In fact, I've been kind of high on some of that too, because the fact is, after watching Metallurgy last week, they were talking about these later Testament albums, and I kind of did my usual thing with Testament, right? I absolutely love the Legacy, still do, 10 out of 10 album, okay? Then the New Order came out, and it's like a lot of the songs on that record are good, but like every single song on that fucking thing has this slow intro. I remember when it came out, you know, my friends now complained about that, but like, so I didn't have it for a long time because I let it go, and then I got a copy again like maybe 5, 6, 8 years ago, something like that. Give it a chance. And it's the same thing, man. It's like a lot of the songs are good, but it just feels like a slog to listen to because every single song has these like acoustic intros and shit. It's like, dude, you do that on. They did that on Apocalyptic City and sort of on Burnt Offerings on the first record, and that was great. The other ones were all heavy, and those felt like little sort of, you know, a little bit of variety in there. Every fucking song having like a slow intro, and I was like, I'm out. So people were talking about some of the subsequent ones later, and I was like, you know something? What the hell? I'm just gonna go out and grab a couple Testament records at my local shop, and sure enough. And this is the point of the story, okay? I went and grabbed these. And I've been listening to them both a lot and actually really enjoying them. I think either of these is better than the New Order. I've probably been spending more time with this one because it's sort of more of a remedial thing for me. Because, like, I saw them on this tour. Like, I didn't buy this record at the time, but I did see them when they came around. And that was kind of when... You know what a big thing was? The first couple times I saw Testament, they started with Raging Waters. And it's like, they're up there, it's like no like bullshit. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, you know what I mean? They're playing Raging Waters, you know? When I saw them on this tour, they did this sort of the cliche thing with like sort of like the atmospheric intro and the build up and all that shit. And around that time, every band was doing that. It was sort of like, oh man, I feel like you kind of lost a little something, you know? You sort of given up, not your identity, that'd definitely be putting it too strongly, but maybe it's just they were headlining that show, you know what I mean? The first time I saw them, they were opening for Anthrax. The second time they were with Megadeth. There were 2 other bands. Flotsam and Jetsam and Sanctuary played too, so I don't know if Testament was really opening, so they played third, but you know, they weren't the top of the bill. And then on that third time they were, so I don't know. Anyway, I had fun at that show and that sort of thing, but I was just kind of like, okay, you know. So the point is, for a lot of my adult life, man, if I wanted a copy of Practice What You Preach or Souls of Black on record, I was just shit out of luck. You know what I mean? Then the internet came around and like you could get some of this shit, but it was kind of difficult, especially with some of the later ones like this where I mean, when is this one from? It's like 90-ish, 91, 92, somewhere in there. Yeah, I think this one's 1990. Might be 89. I don't know. Right around there, those when CDs were really starting to come into prominence and they were pressing fewer records. So it's kind of getting harder. But right now in 2026, I can go to my local shop and go, you know, so I'm just going to go to my local shop and grab a couple Testament records. And they had them. You know, that's great. So, moral of the story is that I went out and spent money because I don't like to make this about that. It's just really nice to live in a time where you can go to the store with a specific record in mind and actually have a decent chance of finding it, you know? For so many years, it was like, you didn't go to the record store with any expectations. You walked in to see what they had. You know what I mean? It's like you had your sort of wish list in your head and shit, but you weren't actually expecting to find anything because it's just not how it worked. For, 20 some years, that's how collecting was for me. Sort of like the middle 20 years, since I never really stopped after high school. I listen to this record a lot too, man. Fucking Violence. It's funny, I've had this record for a few years, but I'm kind of late to these guys too. I remember when this came out, I don't know, honestly I think I thought the cover looked stupid. Which, in retrospect, is one of those things where when you're in high school and you don't have enough money to buy everything, you have to just sort of like rationalize the shit you didn't buy. So I did not buy this record because I was broke, or I only had money for, the Metallica and the Anthrax record I wanted or something like that. I didn't buy this one because I thought the cover was kind of stupid, I didn't pay a ton of attention to it. Like I said, I grabbed this a little bit more recently. I listened to it a couple times. I was like, yeah, that's a cool record, man. And that was about it. But lately I've pulled it out. You know what it kind of is I saw these guys late last November when I was in Seattle, actually visiting my kid. When I saw Interceptor, the local band in Seattle. They were playing with Violence and a couple other bands. And I'm telling you, man, I understand that Sean Killian, the singer for these guys, is kind of polarizing because he has sort of a shouty style and shit. He looked like somebody you didn't want to fuck with, like at the show. It's funny because like here, they kind of all look like kids still, you know what I mean? But like with his fucking like shirt all buttoned up and shit, and like he's bald now and shit. We were like, holy shit, man, that guy isn't fucking around, And actually, I didn't interact with him myself, but based on like his general behavior, he seemed fine. Like I'm not saying he's like an asshole. But like when he was sort of on stage in character, it was like, fuck, dude, And like, it's not like I'm a teenager anymore. It's a little harder to do that than it used to be. I was at a Mayhem show where they were throwing fucking cow skulls around in the fucking pits. So, I've seen Deicide a couple times. I think I'd fuck with Glenn Benton before I'd fuck with Sean Killian. Anyway, that's kind of stayed with me. Like, in that polarizing factor, I've kind of latched on to him. Like, I'll put this record on and be like, yeah, let's hear that shit now. You know what I mean? Like, the guitar shit's cool. I want to hear the verse where, like, Sean Killian comes in and starts going, So I've really been digging this record a lot. Yeah. It's kind of fun to, like, rediscover an old band like that, So here we go. We've got to go for another obscure one here, right? Or else it wouldn't be a true metal theologian video. So how about a little Black Obelisk? Or Chorny Obelisk. Let's fire this one up for a couple minutes. See if we get a copyright hit on this. This is a really weird record. Okay, so it's a Russian metal record, right? So not quite playing by the same rules right out of the gate. But these guys, I swear, the Russian shit tended to be a couple years behind, right? Because politics. Generally speaking, like sort of the great thrash era was kind of petering out by like 91, 92, arguably 89, 90, but depends on how forgiving you want to be. I think there are a lot of records made around 1990 that were a lot of fun, but not necessarily great. What I think of my favorite Russian records, one of the first ones that come to mind is Varvar, which is 94. Okay? This record, I swear it sounds like it was kind of anticipating some of that groove shit that wasn't really going to come in until later in the decade. I mean, I guess there were a couple bands kind of doing this around the same time. This would be like early 90s. I think this is 90-ish. Let me see if I can figure it out. Yeah, it's literally all in Cyrillic on there. Like, this is one of those records that's tough. Bands like this are why I have a Cyrillic keyboard installed on my phone, so I can, like, search for shit like this. And, and I don't know Russian. These guys just had a vibe to... Oh yeah, their names are Anatoly, Yuri, Igor, and Vladimir. Like, could you get 4 more Russian-sounding first names on this fucking thing than these guys? There's something about the color of this one and some of the moves that they make that really feel ahead of their time. And I haven't been completely able to put my finger on it. So I've been playing the record kind of a lot. Definitely a Russian-style singer. A lot of these guys are like all seem to sing gruff like this, you know. It also seems like there's disproportionately a lot of death metal coming out of Russia too. But I think it's just a function of the fact that the death metal was coming out at the same time as the guys who wanted to play the older like thrash metal or even like the more sort of mid-paced metal, you know. There's something about the color of this, like sort of the way it rings a little bit. Like the bass sound. And there are thrash records from '87 from the US that I could point to that have a similar kind of sound. But somehow the combination of these elements makes it feel like, to me, like it's, like, I don't know, like it was anticipating some of the groove shit later on. This isn't a groove metal record. I wouldn't call it that at all, but... So let me bump it to the next song, see if you can hear a little better on the next one. Yeah, somehow the way those breaks in there are executed, it's like the writing could have been done a few years earlier. But there's something about the performance, something about the drum sound. I don't know, maybe it's just me. You can tell me if you think I'm full of shit on this one. But I think Black Obelisk is a really interesting band. I'm talking about this a lot. It's not necessarily my favorite Russian band. But they're one of the most interesting ones. And like an interesting record from Russia, I can really spend some time with. So I did the same thing with that Legion record that has kind of a bad reputation. Shit, I can't remember what it's called. And just saying Legion like doesn't really give you anything. So let me pull my signature move and go up. Grab it. Yeah, this one. Knights of Cross. This is a really weird one too. Like this is one of those records that has a reputation for dealers hyping it like it's, you know, this great like underground like metal obscurity. And it kind of is that, but not for the reasons that you think. And there are a lot of people I think who have bought this record and felt kind of burned by that. You know what I mean? Because listen to this. I mean, metal bands weren't really doing this in 1990, you know, or 91 or whenever this Black Obelisk came out. So anyway, I listened to this Legion record a lot, and I was kind of fascinated by it, but it's not because it's a great metal record, it's because it's just kind of a bonkers record generally, and I have a soft spot for that kind of shit. Alright, anyway, that's at least some of what's been playing around here. Yeah, like some of the classic metal, man. Some like old favorites that I'd like neglected from back in the day. It seems like maybe old records I neglected that have become favorites, and some new shit that I've been really happy to see. So, big shout out to Black Legion Records. Big shout out to Brutal Planet /Retroactive /Boone's Overstock. And thanks for watching. See you soon.